Hi guys, I am in my daughter's room. I've got this to build. It's actually 2 boxes and the other one's in the living room. What I'm going to be building is this Ikea shelf. Now we actually bought 4 of them. I'm only going to be putting 1 together because as you can see, we don't have a huge amount of room for it. It will, if I measured it correctly, it'll fit nicely right here. Worst case scenario, I need to move her treehouse over and it'll go next to her cupboard that she has her American Girl stuff on. Right now, she has this Our Generation diner in there. She wants to sell that. She's trying to decide because this shelf is going to be it's to make a dollhouse essentially. That's why we bought 4 of them. Our plan is once we actually get a house, we're going to stack 2 on 2 and then have it basically 2 shelf by 2 shelf house. Is what the plan is with it. And obviously that's not going to fit here. And we're not going to stack it up because we don't want it to block her egress of a window. That's why I'm kind of considering, I can't remember exactly how high it is, about maybe putting it against there. I'll see how it goes, but the placement. But she's going to be putting Blair's kitchen on top. The rest of that's out in the hallway. And then she was talking about putting she has a bathroom, the Walmart brand bathroom. She also has some Walmart brand beds. She does not have an actual American Girl kitchen. Oh, wait a minute. I remember one thing she said. So right down here is her couch, her Mary Ellen couch. The Mary Ellen couch is going to go in it. My son also has like the TV stand and everything I showed in his Christmas haul. And they want to make one of the rooms a living room. She hasn't fully decided on the second room. But getting back to this OG diner, she doesn't really play with it. She really can't get back there when she piles everything like this. But she just bought herself, she saved up some money and bought herself Kira's Wild Rescue or Wild Rescue. It's the one that comes with Bean because she really wanted Bean, the little baby koala. She had the big koala and the kangaroo with the Joey, but now she needed Bean too. She also bought the wombat set. And she's like, I don't know what to do with that. She also has that school desk kind of crammed in there. So this thing takes up a lot of room that she doesn't really play with. I'm hoping, from what I understand, the rescue shouldn't be a whole lot of room either. And worst case scenario, we can put the desk in there, kind of finagle it around, and she has a locker. But she wanted to put that in there, and then she's still trying to decide with the second room. So her ideas are either maybe putting the animal rescue in there and putting the bed in here and putting the bed and the school together. So we'll see how that goes when the animal rescue gets here. It's actually on back order. As you can see, here's her American Girl bin that has all of her Ziploc bags with the accessories and the outfits and such, and most of her dolls are in here. She was actually playing with them. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I will continue to talk. So my kids do 4-H. I've said this numerous times before, and doing 4-H, my daughter this year, it was her first year being eligible for county fair. So we signed her up for county fair for rabbits. She did exceptionally well for her first year. Never in a million years did I think she would win anything in rabbits, and lo and behold, she won 2 grands. But anyways, she also entered photography. Now, she does not have a camera herself. I have this camera that I use for my vlogs. I have that other camera that my sister-in-law and mother-in-law gave me for my birthday and Christmas. And while it's a nice camera, it takes good pictures. It's just really cumbersome for me to hold and carry around. So I just revert back to this one typically because this one's smaller. But anyways, so my daughter doesn't have a camera. She's only ever really taken pictures on her iPad, my husband's iPad, my phone, my husband's phone, etc. So she wanted to take a picture of Piggy or Puppy for county fair, so I lent her my other camera. I hope you guys are hearing this over me trying to rip this box open because they did not make it easy. So we are also part of the American Rabbit Breeders Association, the Texas Rabbit Breeders Association, and on top of that, my kids are both members of the breed of rabbit that they have specific club for their breed, and then we are part of a local group, Rabbit Breeders Association. So there's quite a few groups we are part of, and so in doing this, a lot of our friends, kids that are in these groups as well, they're competing at county fair as well. One family that we have made friends with, actually, we knew of from the groups and going to shows, but we got to know them better in recent years. One of their daughters and my daughter actually saw the same counselor. Okay. Oh, this is the mounting brackets. Okay, so where are the actual directions? I got a bag of stuff but no directions. So anyways, my husband and I took a class through the counseling center, and her and her husband, or one of the other families, her and her husband were taking the same class. Assuming this is the bottom. They were taking the same class. Teffy, you're gonna have to move, baby. Sorry guys, Teffy's, sorry, Boog. And so we actually kind of bonded over this class, being in this class together. And she has a mother. I know that her and her mom don't always get along. I know me and my mom don't always get along. I found the directions, finally. So, anyways, to make a long story short, we've become friends with the family, including the mother, the grandmother. Our kids actually play together. Her youngest daughter, which is, my daughter's in 3rd grade, and our youngest daughter is in kindergarten. And then she has another daughter that I believe is in 4th or 5th grade. And then she has her stepdaughter, all of which you can see in rabbits. So we're at county fair, and her mom helps kind of support their rabbits and funding for the girls' rabbits. So her mom was there, and we were talking, and I had mentioned about my daughter entered county fair for photography. And my daughter's standing there, and we're talking, and the grandmother asked my daughter, she's like, oh, so you're interested in photography? And my daughter's like, yes. And she goes, oh, that's great. She goes, what kind of camera did you use? Hold on, guys. So she goes, what kind of camera do you use? And my daughter goes, oh, I just used my mommy's camera. And then she goes, you don't have your own camera? And then she goes, no, mommy and daddy haven't bought me one yet. And then I'll call her Miss K. Miss K looks at me and she goes, so she doesn't have her own camera? And I said, unfortunately, no. We keep meaning to buy her one. We just haven't gotten to it yet. And she's like, would you be offended? I'm like, would I be offended? What do you mean, would I be offended? I'm thinking, what's this lady talking about? She's like, would you be offended if I gave her one? And I'm like, what? And she's like, no, kind of backstory. Miss K has a small business farm in the area, so she had purchased, she told me, she goes, I had purchased this camera for her business, and she said, I purchased this camera for my business, and she goes, a few years ago, and well, it's a nice camera, and I really like the camera. She said, it's just too much for me. I ended up purchasing a cheaper point and shoot camera, or a cheaper camera, all she said. That is easier for me to use, because she's not old, but she is older. She's probably about my mom's age, maybe a little bit older. So she's like, would you be offended if I offered her my camera? And so I talked to my husband and I talked to my in-laws who know this family as well. Like, you know, is this a good idea? And they're all like, you know, she's a very kind-hearted woman. She won't ask for anything in return. My biggest fear was, is it going to come back at me that I took this? And so everybody consensus was it was fine. So I'm thinking it's like a point and shoot, like I'm using this Canon PowerShot. I thought it was something like that. So we're at the fair, and the first day, she's like, oh, are you guys going to be here tomorrow? She goes, I forgot to bring it. And I go, yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. And so the next day we show up, and she comes and finds me, and she hands me this camera bag. And I'm thinking, okay. So she hands me this camera bag, and are these supposed to go in here? Nope. I'm kind of a bit confused, to be honest. And so she hands me this camera bag. Oh, I need a screwdriver. And I'm thinking, well, this is a big camera bag for a little point and shoot. She opens up the camera bag, guys, and it is a Nikon D3100 camera. It is a very nice camera, a very expensive camera. I'm like, no, we can't take this. I thought it was just going to be like a little inexpensive point and shoot. And she's like, honey, it's been sitting on my dresser for over... Yes, the cat's climbing the ladder. Be careful. Do you need help? Okay, you're just going to get in that one. I'm like, that's too expensive. And she's like, no. She goes, you need to take it. And I'm like, no. I'm kind of arguing with her a little bit, like, you know, it's very thoughtful of you, but this is a too expensive of a camera for her. And she's like, no. She goes, it's been sitting on my dresser for at least the last 2 years. Like I told you, I bought it. I used it. I liked it when I used it. But she goes, it's just too much camera for me. She goes, I bought a smaller camera. And the smaller camera is what I use. And this has just literally been sitting on my dresser since. And I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. She's like, oh, can you just give me the camera card out of it? Because I think I have pictures on it. I'm thinking, yeah, I can give you your camera or your memory card back. So my daughter, well, I'm talking about the camera. My daughter's been starting to kind of learn the camera. I've been trying to learn that camera because I only have Canon cameras typically. That's my preference. The cameras that I inherited from my dad are, Sony cameras. And some people are saying, well, why didn't you just let her use your dad's cameras? Because my dad had professional cameras, so my dad's cameras were like $1,000 cameras. No way I'm letting a 9-year-old use those. In fact, I'm still leery about letting the 9-year-old use this one. But getting back to like what I'm doing now with the camera is, a few years ago, my daughter and I and my mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and 2 nieces, we went to this American Girl tea party. Okay, guys, I'm going to pause this and be right back. And I'll finish the story. Okay, guys, so I'm back. While I was getting a screwdriver, I just decided to grab or open up the other box and bring it all in. So anyways, a few years ago, like I said, we went to this American Girl tea party at my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's country club. And they had a guest speaker there. Like, they had somebody there that made some cute doll clothes. It was a really sweet presentation. We had little like finger foods, and like I said, it was a tea party, so you either got warm or hot tea, cold tea, or lemonade, or water to drink. And they had some little mini quiche. They had little mini finger sandwiches. It was a really sweet little tea party. They had drawings. They had like this etiquette type class, I think is what it was, where you had to balance a book on your head and walk around an obstacle course. They had picture opportunities, so it was a lot of fun. It was a few hours, and they had a guest speaker who was an American Girl YouTuber. Now, mind you, I had not really watched any American Girl YouTube stuff. I had my dolls for my collection. At this point, they were all in storage. The American Girl stuff is a lot in my daughter at this point. When I purchased stuff, it was mainly purchasing stuff for her. So, we went to this tea party, and this YouTuber gets up and starts showing some of her YouTube videos, and then she starts talking to the girls. Now, this YouTuber uses her American Girls, so her channel isn't like the typical American Girl channel where it's, you know, just box openings and reviews and such. She does stop motion with her American Girls. So she has a whole channel dedicated to stop motion videos with the American Girl dolls. Okay, Tiffy, thank you. And so they showed us a few of her videos, and then she talked about her dolls. She kind of talked about her collecting. She talked about where all her dolls came from and stuff like that. And then at the end, the kids could go up and take pictures with her. Of course, this was all pre-COVID. Like I said, it's been a few years now. So at that point, my daughter had asked to do a YouTube channel for her American Girl dolls. She was like 6, maybe 7 at the time, and it was like, yeah, no. We're not going to get into that. Because to me, that sounded like a lot of mom doing type stuff. More work for mom. So I'm like, you know, I like the idea, but just not right now. Well, oh, and if anybody's wondering, the person that I'm referring to is Micah from, I think it's Moxie Pixie 7, I believe is her YouTube channel. She's in college now, but she still does her videos. Ooh, this thing is heavy. So, my daughter getting this camera, she's a little bit older and has since asked once again, can I do some YouTube videos? well, now that she has the camera, she's a little bit older, she can understand stuff a little bit better. We have decided that, yes, that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out, guys. Okay, so it goes on this side. And in doing so, she was wanting a dollhouse. And we've talked about building a dollhouse for her in the past. In fact, my husband's uncle was planning on doing it. He was super excited about doing it. And not to step on his toes, it's just right now, I mean, her room is still pretty large, but it's not a huge room. And in reality, we've talked, when we move, we're probably going to be getting rid of her bunk bed. I would prefer, my son has a low Ikea loft bed. She had one as well in our last place. And when we moved, she decided she wanted to keep her bunk bed and sell the loft bed, which was fine. But now that she's older, she doesn't use the top bunk. The only thing on her top bunk is literally she has crap stored up there. That's all her top bunk is good for anymore. And so did I put that on the wrong way? Yes, it's supposed to go in the back. Okay. So we're gonna sell the bunk bed and get them both some loft, like higher up loft beds. Now the reason why we don't here is the ceilings here are pretty low. We already know which loft bed we would prefer to get them. They come from Ikea. We've looked at them for my son. He wants the one with the desk. It's more of a little kitty one, the one he wants. It's got a desk and like a wardrobe and some shelves. Now we showed that one to my daughter and she does not care for that one, so she wants, and that's only a twin size one, which he likes smaller spaces, so a twin size bed for him is perfectly fine. She likes to spread out when she sleeps. So she has a twin over full bunk bed. And so the plan is to trying to make sure I'm doing this the right way. The plan is for hers is to get her a full-size bunk bed. Okay, I see why. So that's what we're kind of planning. And when we do that, the one that she likes is actually a really tall one. Ironically, the child's afraid of heights, so not so sure how well it's going to go for her, but she likes the really tall twin over full that Ikea has. And in all honesty, that may work out for her if we have a different house. The ceilings in this house are only, I think, 8 feet tall. They're not high ceilings. Like the last house we had, she could stand on her top bunk that she had in the bunk bed she has now. No issues. Is this not tight? So, come on. There we go. So anyways, even at that, if we did a twin over full, this whole thing might fit under the twin over full bunk bed stacked one on top of the other. Even if we'd have to kind of angle it. Somebody said there's a way when building the shelf to not put this piece in. I don't know if that's true or not. This is the Stavia shelf from Ikea. I know that they make other shelves similar to this in this line. We got this one. It's been discontinued. That's why I got it. Because like I said, we were going to have my husband's uncle build a dollhouse for her. But for $80, I got all 4 shelves. And you can't buy the lumber for that price. Especially not with everything going on right now. So for 80 bucks, she's going to have her dollhouse. We also like the fact that it's going to be clean lined with white. Where if we built one, it would be like a particle board that you would need to paint or wallpaper, which we can still like wallpaper and stuff like for this. I plan on getting some shelf liner for the floor. Dollar Tree sells a really cute shelf liner that looks like wood, so it'll make it look like a wooden floor for the living room. You can measure them out and get carpet. You can leave it just white and put a little rug on the floor. I mean, there's possibilities are endless. I just like the fact that like right now I don't have to do anything with it. So that is why we're doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this, and then I will come back when I'm done, and show you the finished product. Okay guys, here is the finished product. We have got Blair's Restaurant up on the top, as well as the trellis and table for the wedding stuff. For now, I just put her 2 doll beds in there and 2 chairs. We have a table for those 2 chairs, but that's sitting in the corner, so I'm just going to leave that. And then this is what she really was excited about, is putting Mary Ellen's couch, making a little living room. Her brother got, for his birthday, the Xbox set, and for Christmas he got the TV set to go with his Xbox, so now they have a little living room combined. So this is just one of the shelves. Like I said, I'm only going to put one up here because, as you can see, it doesn't block the window for her to get out. So that's okay. She's fine there as an egress, but we've got one more that can stack on top of this one, and then 2 more that can go on the side. So it'll make an 8-room house for her. So essentially it'll be like the living room, the kitchen, dining room, bathroom / laundry room, because she has a washer and dryer somewhere, and the bathroom set. And then that will leave her with like 4 other rooms to do what she wishes with. So I hope everyone has a good day, and I will see you all later. Bye!